All right, guys, so it's been a whole year with my 2011 FJ Cruiser Trail Teams Edition. Now, I bought this vehicle, actually found it locally with 85,000 miles. So this is a 2011. It's now 10 years old. I've owned it for 1 year. So let's talk about everything that I learned here in the past year. So in America, at least, unfortunately, you cannot buy an FJ Cruiser anymore. 2014 was the last year, and since then we have not had it anymore, but the price continues to go up. A 2014 Trail Teams Ultimate Edition, which is heritage blue, very similar to the cavalry blue color if you're familiar with the newer TRD Pros. That was actually the last big hurrah for the FJ Cruiser, and then after that it did go away here in the United States. Now those particular Trail Teams Ultimate Editions are extremely valuable, upwards of $40,000, at least in my area. And all of these FJ Cruisers seem to hold their value really, really well. Now for the Trail Teams, they only made $2,500 per year. And again, the easiest way to spot that is with that color matched roof. But you also get special wheels, suspension, blacked out kind of badges and grille and everything. Really, really easily recognizable once you know what you're looking for, and a vehicle that I have really, really come to love here in the past year. So inside the 2011 FJ Cruiser Trail Teams Edition, it really reminds you a lot of the outside. Definitely reminds you what kind of vehicle you're in. It does have the Trail Teams badge right over there. And this particular one, being a Trail Teams, does have a ton of the army green on the interior as well. You can see around the radio, the seat panels, the door panels, all of which really, really cool. But drivetrain wise, this is very much like any other mid-2000s Toyota you might find. It does have the 4-liter V6, the tried and true engine that a lot of us have come to know and love. It does have a 5-speed automatic and a true 2-speed transfer case, low range, high range, 4-wheel drive, and 2-wheel drive. Also has all of your great Toyota buttons there with your rear diff lock, A-track, traction control off. One thing I really like is Toyota was thinking about the enthusiast here, left blank switches. So even though this was a fully optioned vehicle, with it being the Trail Teams, you couldn't really have anything else than what we have here in this vehicle. They do leave you plenty of options to go aftermarket, whether you want to add a switch for a front locker, lights, whatever. And honestly, that is really, really nice. This vehicle really doesn't feel all of that aged, even with the driving experience. You do have all of your steering wheel buttons with your Bluetooth, radio controls, all like that. Obviously, it has cruise control. But just cruising around in here, to me, this is kind of the best of both worlds. It feels simple, and yet it doesn't feel too old. You know, when you want to change the heat, you want to change the fan speed, just grab the big knob there, give it a twist to your desired fan speed or temperature, and there you go. You want to hit the hazards, there you go. You don't have to scroll through 6 different menus. You just operate it like you would. It's very intuitive, but again, it doesn't feel all that old. So one other cool little nod to previous Toyota models, you can see you have your compass there, your thermometer, and your inclinometer there on the dash. You used to see this a lot with Toyota pickups and 4Runners that were well optioned. You have something similar like that on the dash, and it's just really cool, kind of a historical throwback nod there, but also it's really neat just looking up on your dash and seeing that as you're cruising down the trail. So although this vehicle does have a lot of styling similar to the FJ40, this is not a Land Cruiser and it is not an FJ. So this motor is Toyota's 4-liter V6. It is paired with a 5-speed automatic. And I think a lot of Toyota people would kind of agree that this is one of our favorite engine options for any Toyota product. I think a lot of people that had 2nd generation Tacomas or even up to modern 4Runners would kind of agree that we like this motor a lot better than that 3.5-liter V6 that's found in the 3rd generation Tacomas. So what the FJ name actually means is it goes back to Toyota's history again. So you go back, and the F-Series engine was actually a Chevrolet design of the straight 6 that Toyota was able to make, and they actually put it in several different vehicles, including the FJ40. So the F is the F-Series engine. The J is actually for Jeep. They're making a Jeep-like product with the F-Series engine, and that's how you get it. The FJ40 was actually the first kind of mass-produced one to come to the United States, and the 40 harkens back to the generation. Then you had the 50 generation, the 60, the 80. I actually had one of those, and the 80 series is actually the last true FJ Land Cruiser. It was the last one to use that straight 6, and then past that, the 100 series and 200 series actually use a V8, no longer that F series engine. And again, now you go back to this one and it does have a V6, actually not an F series engine. So you might be able to see here one of my least favorite things about the FJ Cruiser, and that's that vertical windshield. It definitely is a bug catcher and a rock catcher. I've been pretty fortunate so far, have not had to replace this, but we'll go ahead and cruise up this hill in front of me. I know it won't show up on camera, but it is a pretty steep hill. So we went ahead and dropped it into 4 low, went ahead and put the rear locker on. You can see the dash is all lit up there with all kinds of safety warnings. We'll go ahead and cruise up here and see how she does. So 4 low, rear locker engaged, no A-track. I'm not sure if you can see that. We'll watch this angle here kind of creep up. And it just cruises right up. I mean, we're doing little more than idling here and just having an absolute blast here. I mean, it just really takes a lot to even begin to tax this vehicle. Super, super capable, and just a lot of fun here to cruise around. So I actually watched my fuel economy pretty good here in this FJ. That was one thing that I was really worried about just due to its boxy design, but actually it does pretty good. So I just filled up here. I have gone 259 miles, put a little over 13 gallons in there, and you can see 19.9 miles to the gallon. So really good. Admittedly, I don't do a ton of high-speed cruising on this, and I don't do a whole lot of city. A lot of my driving is between 40 and 60 miles an hour, but the FJ seems to do really, really well and seems to like that kind of speed range, and nearly 20 miles to the gallon I feel is pretty respectable for this vehicle. Now, I bought this particular vehicle with 85,000 miles and now has 87,000 miles, and I purchased it for $19,000, which seems like a lot for a 10-year-old Toyota, but unfortunately, you just can't get anything like this anymore, and a lot of these examples are going for way more money. So let me know what you think. Is this way too much for a 10-year-old Toyota, or is this still the Toyota to buy? I personally think this is still the one to get. It's definitely the most off-road worthy. It's a ton of fun to drive, and you get all kinds of looks. Now, I still haven't been able to fit into a Jeep cruise event. Unfortunately, it kind of looks similar. It might fool the Jeep novices, but I'm only kidding. It is just an awesome vehicle to have. I've really, really been enjoying it. And again, let us know what you think down in the comment section. So thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll catch you next time.